Namaste. So we're beginning our 48-week sadhana, which will be 52-week, as we'll have few weeks off for our holidays as and when we need. So in our lesson 1 of 48, the first lesson in our holistic health and well-being, we want to understand what yoga really is. So instead of just jumping into doing some hands-on work, we begin our journey with understanding the concept, the principles of yoga, the root meanings of yoga. And I always like to really begin with the way our Guru Swamiji Sanatan Giri explains yoga as a mother of all the sciences. He said, yoga is the mother of all the sciences. The science, the life, the journey, the evolution begins. Or anyway, you can say the yoga provides us the map, the guideline on how to live our life in peace, in harmony, and then through living our life in peace, harmony, or non-dualistic lifestyle, free from conflicts, free from negative mental states, emotions, so we can be in this deepest state of peace, this deepest state of well-being, or that inner sense of ease within ourselves. So in a way, so yoga becomes that science, that guideline or that outline on how to live our life. And just a couple of days ago, I was listening, there's such an amazing satsang by Amaji, and saying that this yogic teaching or this yogic wisdom is there. It's eternally there, like the wisdom of the universe, the wisdom of life, wisdom of our conscious soul or Atman, Atmajnana. So the way our Atmic, our conscious life principles flow or move forward onto this evolutionary journey. So these teachings, this wisdom exists eternally. And through this sadhana, through freeing ourselves from our chitvartis or mental whirlpools or our distractive subjects of our sense organs, all the sensory input, our desires, our feelings, emotions, coming out of them to raise our awareness or to raise our states of mind, and then we have access to this wisdom. Now this is quite amazing, to me when I think about yoga as a lifestyle, yoga as a therapy or the tool to enhance the quality of our life. I do believe, it's one of the most sincere effort or the finding of a human life, or by these greatest of the yogis, the saints in ancient India or the Bharat, this beautiful country. So they did this one of the amazing, most sincere effort to find the way to explore our inner self and to find that peace. So here you can really sort of think of yoga as a path. So it's just a guideline. It tells us how to live our life and which way to go. Then he also gives us the kriyas and prakriyas. So it's just a set of methods, set of practices, set of tools, and how to use them. So sort of another like the manual that is written on how to live, how to walk the path, and then how to also prepare your body, your mind, your pranic energy, your consciousness to grow or to evolve on this yogic path. So yoga becomes our path. Yoga becomes the practices that we need to live, to be healthy, to grow, to evolve. And yoga also becomes our ultimate goal. And this is something Patanjali begins so amazing. He says, Atha Yoga Anusasana. So this whole yogic idea of self-enlightenment or health, well-being, happiness, he begins with the first tool. It's like, here we are, to be healthy, to be happy. Let's follow a straight path of discipline. So sort of think of yoga as having that right attitude, that mindset of, I need to do what I need to do and I should do them. So taking action on what needs to be done for your health, your well-being. Then he said, through that discipline, your yoga becomes the goal or the fruit of it Chitta Vritti Nirodha. So you attain that stillness or quietness of your mind, that inner quietness, that inner peace, that inner joy. And when we have this inner stillness or quietness in a therapeutic way, you gain the centeredness, you gain the balance of your sympathetic and parasympathetic, you gain a sense of mental balance, you gain a sense of emotional balance, the peace, and we really sort of working on releasing the overburdened tension or exertion of our nervous system itself. So when you are exhausted, tired, over sort of burned yourself either physically, mentally or emotionally, it is actually very hard to think straight. It is very hard to inculcate positive thoughts or to even eat a healthy meal. We tend to always fall for the negative, fall for the junk. Either it's a thought, a sensory input, or the food. So through the disciplined life, disciplined attitude and approach of your lifestyle, you attain that inner quietness, the inner peace. And he said, when you attain that inner peace, you truly become one with your own self, your true self, your higher self. So we attain that oneness. So here we become free from the conflict, free from the duality. Here everything seems to be in equality. There is no difference between you and me. There is no difference of color or caste or economy or whatever. So we all become one. We start to see a much bigger or a much holistic picture of our life and then all other lives that exist around us. So we're coming to this point where we become one with ourselves. And when you become one with yourself, you become one with everything else. As the yogic idea, Tat Pinde, so where you exist. If you understand or experience your existence, you know yourself, then Tat Brahmande, you know the universe, you know the life. And in that way, as the Ayurveda and Sankhya, or the Sanskrit term we use for health, is swasthya. So the swa astya, when the self, swa astya, becomes established or one with its own self. So in a way, the first three sutras of Patanjali really giving us the most beautiful definition, an understanding of holistic attitude or approach or drishti on yoga as a lifestyle and also yoga as a therapy. So the tool from Yoga Sutra, the first tool is following a disciplined path. As Swamiji mentions many times in his teachings, that by birth we all have the right, our birthright is to be healthy, to be happy. So it's living our life to the optimum, to the best we can. But he said to be optimum, to be healthy, to be happy, you can never take it for granted. We have to do everything that need to be done for health. We have to do everything that need to be done for our happiness. We have to do everything that we need for our wellness, our well-being. So through the disciplined path, we attain this inner quietness, and through the inner quietness, we gain this oneness, free from the conflict, free from the duality, from liking, disliking, sympathetic, parasympathetic, overexcited or no energy at all, angry or just scared. So there is this constant conflict we all live in. So through this yogic attitude, this yogic philosophy, when we bring that in our life as a tool or lifestyle, we start to free ourselves, unwind ourselves, and learn all this conditioning that we all are living in, which is almost, you will be surprised how many of us actually constantly living in fight and flight mode. It's just constantly in that stress, constantly in that burden. So this unwinding process begins when you start to learn how to love yourself. As some of the beautiful terms we have in yoga, Atmajnana. So that is the knowledge, the wisdom of yourself, knowing yourself. Then Atma Prema, learning to love ourselves. And when you learn to love yourself, you also learn to love other people. You become free from that preconceived expectations, your prejudgmental ideas or concepts. So we're moving forward from there, then we look into, so I guess so far we got the yoga as a path, then yoga as the set of practices which helps us to go through, walk the path, and then our ultimate goal, attaining the fruit, is attaining that inner quietness or the peace, and then the ultimate goal is the highest union or samadhi or enlightenment or liberation. And that's where the true swadhyaya in yogic or into the Vedantic wisdom really goes into. So having that self-realization. So moving from there, few other really beautiful definitions which I do find them quite amazing, quite empowering whenever I use them to deal with my own mental inner conflicts. As in Bhagavad Gita, we got few beautiful definitions. One of them, as Krishna counseling Arjuna, and one is yoga karmesu koslam. So he said yoga is a skill in your action. So when we talk about self-empowerment, upliftment, we want to grow ourselves, have the inner confidence, have that bliss, that the willpower, that full of energy and enthusiasm. He said learn to be skillful in your action, which in a much more simpler way we can translate it, doing our best and leaving the rest. Niskama karma, fruitless action. So think of all your thoughts, your intentions, your energy, you putting them in what need to be done instead of what I get from it. And this is one of the idea I do find whenever I contemplate on this idea in my own sadhana meditation. Whenever from my own experience, when I'm focused in looking at people, looking at either in my own household life, with my kids or my friends, my yoga family, whenever I get caught into what I get, what am I given from people, there is so much sort of judgment in there. We easily get disappointed, we easily get angry, caught into the negative thoughts. And whenever I slightly change it around and look from other people's perspective and see what I am receiving or what I have been given. So what I want and what I have given. If I slightly change my perspective and then do what I can do from my best, from my highest potential to fulfill my life, fulfill my dharma. And Krishna says, do your best and leave the rest. Or yoga in skill in your action. So really utilizing best of yourself, your physical, your mental, your emotional abilities and performing from there. This is very interesting. In one of the verses he further says, doing your own things. So that means, knowing yourself, knowing your skills, your abilities, and then doing things from that ability, that potential is far more important for you than you trying to do somebody else's job. And that's to me another way to look at this concept of doing our best and leaving the rest of yoga. So you do your best. You're not judging yourself. You're not comparing or competing yourself with other people. And I do find, I think in our modern time, one of the big reasons so many people out there are suffering with physical or especially mental and emotional problems or social problems because of this constant judgment that we are judging ourselves based on other people. Or there is a social pressure, there is a family pressure, there is a pressure on success, achievement, the goal, what have you done, what have you achieved, how much money you got, what kind of job you got, what sort of scores you got in your academic studies. So that pressure is almost like we are into this pressure cooker, constantly boiled, constantly evaporating, where there is no life anymore. So this idea of doing our best, or doing our niskama karma, the fruitless action, or performing or investing or putting our energy or mindfulness in our actions that need to be done. Then yoga samatva uchyate. He also says that yoga is to live in equanimity. Now sometimes I do wonder like how much these great yogis would have known especially from our modern perspective. When I look at these teachings, these ideas from ancient perspective, then I think, the way our modern science or the way we are exploring, we are still hundreds and hundreds of years behind from where they are. And this is sort of interesting. A couple of days ago I was listening to Dr. Ananda in one of the talk and on Yoga Sutras, and he was sort of saying like how in his experience, he feels like Patanjali existed couple of thousand years later on. So he doesn't come from the past. The teachings are not actually from the past. The teachings are from the future, and he time traveled backward to give the teachings, share the teachings to people, like, oh, there is something already there. If you practice them, if you follow them, you can live your life in peace, you can live your life in harmony, and you can really enhance your optimum health and well-being. So sometimes, when I think about that idea, it seems to be so realistic or so like scientific, so appropriate, that maybe these teachings actually existed eternally, but the Patanjali comes from the future and he shares his teachings back with us. And this is how all these teachings of either Patanjali or Bhagavad Gita, they seems to be so much more relevant actually in our today's life situation, more than maybe even when they were teaching or sharing these teachings, this wisdom at that time. So yoga samatva uchate. Yoga is to live in equanimity. Now, if I think a little bit about this on more of our scientific or modern sort of perspective, see, we are driven by our sympathetic and parasympathetic. Now, because of the stress, the modern sort of pressure, the burden that we're living in, it seems to be more or less of our life is driven more by the sympathetic nervous system. The stress, the pressure, the burden, the tension, the constant response that we have to constantly keep taking. There is no gap, there is no time to think, no time to reflect. So he as Krishna says, live in equanimity. Now the equanimity is actually when your sympathetic and your parasympathetic, both nervous systems, can play or dance perfectly between each other. So there is a time to be excited, there is time to come into action, go for performing, go for doing things. There is a time for fight, there is a time for flight. But at the end of that stress response, there is also time that we should return back to our homeostasis, to this sense of ease, sense of comfort, or which allows your body to be healed, your mind to be healed, relaxation of your nervous system, balance of your hormones, cleansing, purification, replacement. All that happens when we return back into relaxation or into this sense of ease. So if we see that concept of actually yoga is living in equanimity. So keep your life in the balance. Now, the Patanjali, the way the sutra Patanjali explains is to keep yourself in equanimity, keep yourself into that balance. You can always remind yourself to think opposite. So when you're really being overexcited about something, he said, think of the adverse that brings you slightly down. And when you're feeling really down or upset or angry, think of the beautiful moments of your life. So gratefully shifting and re-enhancing this Shiva Shakti or the Prana Apana, the Loma Viloma, or the sympathetic, parasympathetic into the harmony, so they can easily find their perfect way to transform and take the dominance as and when they need to. As the concept of spanda, nispanda, action, relaxation. So this will be moving forward into the yoga of equanimity, living our life in equanimity. The karma yoga, doing your action, doing your best. So these are some of really simple definitions or trying to understand yoga from more holistic perspective or more than hatha or the physical practices itself. Om Shanti, Shanti, Shanti.